All right. Good morning, everybody. What's up, Matt? Nice to see you today, buddy. I know it was a little last minute, but I figured I'd get your ass up here, let you have some fun yapping with me because I know you love to talk. We all do. It's that kind of
I
space.
certainly do.
Um, but yeah, I'm just finishing getting it set up right now, getting the lives going, and we are live. Good morning, everybody. You're here at CJF, CJN Friends. You're here with the friends. We do different topics almost every day of the week now, but we've reduced some of the events. It's Mondays through Wednesdays. We do Creator Corner, we do DJ's Den, we do our live events, and then we have some bot games. Usually getting some special guests in. Today I reached out to Matt. I figured they have a lot of stuff going on in the Warp Chain ecosystem, and they're making some pushes recently. So I figured it works. It's a degen topic because there's degen aspects to Web3 gaming, and you know how we all love those degen aspects, especially with how terrible they're doing right now in the industry. So I figured I'd get him up here and see if any of his friends wanted to come in and join in and have some fun discussing how much we all hate the market right now and how much the market hates us.
Yeah.
So
Oh man, the market. Screw the market, man. It is definitely on fire right now. One thing I would say is like it's actually good to be doing a TGE relatively low because when everything goes back up again, you're starting from a low point, and it's nice. It's nice to be releasing a token without any calls to dump on you, without any VCs to dump on you, without any airdrops that you're giving people away tokens to cheat. It's good. It's just for validating our network and getting nodes up.
yeah, yeah. Let's see. Chain said he was gonna hop in too from Voxy, so I figured I don't see him in here just yet though. But we'll see what happens if he ends up rolling through. It's always interesting to see the different mentalities around it because there's two very distinct corners of gaming. There are the people in gaming who hate the whole like token aspect, but it's a part of the industry, right? And they know that it's a game they have to play if they're participating in Web3 and the gaming aspect of it and trying to potentially earn from it, right? But these people just hate the whole experience because it takes away so much from the gaming itself. It takes away from the fun of it, the love of it. And I know a lot of people who end up saying if you turn it into a job where there's money and stuff like that, then it it hurts the experience and the fun of the game itself. So it's a really hard balance that you have to have. It's a hard line to toe, I guess you would say, when it comes to tokens and what you're doing in the industry.
Yeah, for real. I mean, basically, everyone hates tokens in gaming. No one more than me, because I've seen how much devastation it's caused to the entire industry. And the main thing is that people have always gone back and forth with, "Oh, you just need to make a great game. You just need to make a great game." No one has achieved that, and everyone has always said, "Oh, these games are fantastic," and they're not. Like they don't even hit the base level of a bad game in Web two. When you look at how much money and effort was put into, that latest hero shooter piece of crap that everyone was not going to play, and then no one did play it in the end. Like that was a lot of money, and that was better than basically every single Web3 game that's ever been made, and that was a massive failure. If you're looking at that as a massive failure, now compare that to that kind of doodles thing that was just getting ripped on today. It's insane. So, the standard has always been you've got to beat games that are the best ones out there in your genre for the money you've spent on them. And that's never an easy task, and it's less easy when you're trying to make half of your money up front through a token or an NFT sale.
Yeah.
I personally think, it's rough. It's rough out there, especially since a lot of the people who got into our industry, they did it basically with no experience in gaming. So it's even
Exactly.
harder for them. It's
Well, that
crazy.
that's the
So,
thing with Web three. Most of the people starting off and participating in Web three are new to everything. They're new to creating a studio. They're new to building a game. They're new to blockchain technology. They're new to starting a business in some cases. They worked places and they participated at high levels of things, but they never like started their own thing. So like and that alone, you may have learned everything you learned participating in the industry as an employee, as somebody with like no stake in the game really, but now you're building something for yourself from scratch with no funding usually, or with very little capital to start off with. So it's a whole different ball game, and people are like, oh yeah, we helped build Star Citizen and blah blah blah, and now they're like, oh wait, this is harder than I thought it was gonna be.
Oh, 100%, man. Like, I think the thing is that people don't realize the learning curve is horrific. Like, just
Oh
even
yeah,
getting the game up and running, like, even if you have this AI stuff, right? One of the things that looked really hilarious to me was a bunch of, Degen stock traders deciding the entirety of the games industry is cooked because Google came out with an AI world thing. It's like, okay, let's just say that that is going to be the way that people make games in the future. Who am I betting on? The people who've made hundreds of millions of dollars or billions of dollars in games, or like some guy who's randomly going to do it? I'd either bet on creators who are in gaming to be the ones to have popular games, or the people who have done it before are very, very good at it. And those guys actually using those tools to make even better games than the average. So for me, it was just bizarre to see people like, oh, gaming's cooked. I mean, not a lot of people know about gaming until you're on the inside of it. And it is brutal. Whatever
yeah.
you think is happening in Web3 gaming, happening worse in Web2 for some reason.
Yeah, I mean, look at Ashes of Creations. They just shut down. I do want to introduce Nadim. He's joining us here from Voxy Tactics. He's their marketing guy, as far as I know, right? Marketing lead from Voxy Tactics. He's a regular on No Cap Gaming. He's one of the friends from the Warp Chain ecosystem. He comes in, he hangs out, he shoots the shit with us. He discusses the industry, and I sent out an invite to a bunch of people from Warp today, hoping that they'd be able to join us and share some insights on the industry. And I just wanted to get him up here and give him the opportunity to share what he thinks about the industry and where we're heading, and what Warp Chain's doing, and how he's been having probably hair loss and stress from the whole industry, and everything around it, because when you work in this industry, you know how it goes. But oh no, Nadeem, where'd he go? He poofed. We lost him.
Oh man, you introduced him and you said he was going bald, man. That's why he left.
Yeah.
Oh, that's rough.
Hey,
That's
I,
rough.
I I hope I didn't get a sore spot.
I don't think he's
I
getting
know
much.
I'm
I
losing my
mean,
hair
welcome on.
lately. Jeez.
Mm.
My beautiful luscious head of hair. Hey, there he goes. Welcome back.
It's back.
Are you not able to speak? Hopefully, well, let me see. Are you having any issues? Do you have push talk on or anything? Like, let's see here. I might have to see. See, I might have to give you the guest speaker role so that you could free speak. Um, so, da, 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 da. Roles, guest speakers. Are you good now? Let's see. I don't know if he's having any issues or not. You all right there, Chain? You're muted, by the way, in
You know,
case you are speaking.
I had a weird issue with Discord the other day when someone was running a stream. I think you were running a stream, Parish, on our Discord. And what was happening is like I was trying it, and every time the stream kept crashing. And when it did, my Discord froze completely. So, I just lost all the sound, which was crazy. So I wonder if that's happening.
Yeah, I,
Well,
I I don't
it
know.
just could be
Discord is
another
just a
error, man.
piece of shit half the time. But like, I was really excited for what was it, Revolt or whatever, when they were starting to make their pushes, but then they friggin' died off too because nobody wanted to participate in the ecosystem because everybody was on Discord. Like it's annoying, but there we go. That's a little
I mean,
better.
but Discord is simultaneously fantastic and it's also simultaneously cancer because there's like a million different Discords. There's so many things going on all the time. At the same time, it's like someone kind of can't leave, and I think that's the problem. Like with Discord, it's made itself completely reliable in that you kind of have to have it because if you don't, someone's going to fake your Discord and start scamming people on it. So that's it's always the hilarious thing. You're forced into having a Discord just to protect people, which I
Oh
think is
yeah,
nuts.
it's rough, dude. Everything's rough, especially in an industry that's so heavily monetized. and like very scammable, it makes it more difficult. And I think that's why a lot of people from like different chains like BTC Maxis and XRP Maxis and these people who have like these safe, closed, almost centralized but decentralized environments don't participate in our neck of the woods because they know that it's not as safe as the areas that they're in, right? Um, so it's
100%.
it's tough, man. You pick your battles though.
Yeah, I think one of the interesting things about it is that we're also optimists because you wouldn't find any other sort of group of people who are willing to download a dodgy client off the internet and
Oh
send
yeah.
money to a random address and just hope that they're going to get paid back in time. Like we are optimists because we get scammed, we come back, we do it again. We just keep believing. I think it's funny because it sometimes feels like we're in the worst get rich club ever we basically don't get rich, but we have fun trying. So I
Yeah.
think it's for me it's about building out something sustainable where we can actually have games that we all enjoy to play. No matter the rewards, we provide that on the back end. That's kind of what we want to do.
And that's what you guys are doing. You're building out a full like infrastructure ecosystem for building out gaming on Web3. So you guys are a studio, a publisher. You guys are doing marketing incubation support for new games that are coming to market, with the focus on games that are launched already and trying to help them improve
Yep.
their reach and their tech in the background with the warp chain and the warp nodes. So and that's one of the topics that's really tough, right? And this is more of a degen focused event that we usually host. I do creator stuff, I do AMAs and all sorts of stuff otherwise. But today we typically talk about tokenomics, we talk about trading, we talk about stuff like that. The nodes are so highly like they're frustrating, right? A lot of people love them because they usually provide good returns and they allow you to participate in ecosystems a little more. But people also hate them because, we've got a bunch of people who launch nodes and then, vanish because they couldn't make it or they didn't get the sales that they were expecting or it was too complex or whatever the case ends up being, right? So what are you guys trying to do different with warp nodes? I know you guys are
I mean, so
just made the push with it, right?
you hit on a lot of topics there, right? So first off, a lot of people who come into the space doing nodes, they're not doing them or they weren't doing them for any particular need in their business, right? So the reason we have nodes is because we need nodes.
Yeah.
Like if we don't have work being done, we can't redistribute revenue. That's a violation of the Howey Act or whatever it's called. So we
Yeah.
need work to be done to validate our chain. And that's why we only minted like 3,000 nodes. That's always going to be the cap. And, they have to validate to receive rewards. And those rewards are basically 20% of the network revenue. And not only do we give that to just holders, but we give it to our guilds that are part of the Capital Guilds program, and we give it to the games. So the whole point is that the more you shill what you love, the more money the entire system makes overall. And that way we can have a chain that has no games on it and is purely industry bound and redistributed. So
Okay.
that's basically the plan behind them.
Well,
As
I
far
mean,
as the technology goes, we're doing quite a simple implementation of it. So happy days on that.
well, that's good. How does that tie into the technology that you're providing for games participating in your ecosystem?
So essentially, what we provide for games is growth. So that's through the Capital Guild programs. We also do a game design consultation. We also analyze their sort of statistics, make sure that they have all of the best kind of technology solutions for stuff. And if we do have Web 2 games that want to go Web 3, we can turn them Web 3. That's also possible. We can help them with wallet solutions or any of those kind of things. So yeah,
Okay.
there's a lot on there.
Okay. And so you would provide like integration support almost on the back end for like helping them get their chain and wallet connection set up, anything like that when it comes to like how you guys operate with Warp Chain?
Sorry, can you just run that by me again? I'm picking up my little daughter from judo, so she's also asking me questions about Fall Guys and whether we finish the level later.
There you go. You guys should check out Hightail. Maddox
Yeah,
and his two littles. They're killing it. They're building out so many cool things. He's got actually got them like building out UGC and stuff. It's pretty awesome. But no, I was wondering
Uh,
like when it comes to like the support that you guys provide as a student, as a publisher, as somebody who worked
mhm.
games in the space, you guys are helping them with their like infrastructure, their back end, trying to get set up and interconnected with like the warp chain validators and the blockchain itself.
So we don't actually put games on our chain. And the reason for that is so that we can have partnerships with the 8 other chains that we work with. So we have partnerships with Avalanche, with Beam, with VaynerChain, with VaraChain, with Layer 1x, with Say, and Immutable and Scale. So that means that we don't want to put games on our chain because if we do that, then they're going to be like, oh, you're going to take our transaction volume. We don't care about transaction volume. We care about the games making money, making revenue, and having the support that they need. So when we talk about tech, we help them to integrate the chain of their choices tech. So that's what we're there for. And also with the platform as well. And that allows them access to questing. It allows them a place to host their game, and also interact with the communities that we've already got signed up there. So kind of what we do on that side. But I think
Okay.
the biggest value add is like the game design stuff. We literally look at their stats, their monetization, and we've got experts who've been working on anything from Candy Crush to EA games to RuneScape to all sorts of different games, and we're there to provide them support when we see, for example, the retention's off. We have loads of different things that we can do. One of the monetization guys that we worked with, as he was running Gwent from CD Projekt Red for 10 years. He was also briefly off the grid doing the Battle Pass stuff. Got a lot of experience all across the industry. One of the co-founders of King, got one of the guys who did the recommendation system for Xbox Live. And we've got one of the dudes who basically made BattleNet. So yeah, we've got ex-EA CMO. Well, he's our CMO, but he's ex-EA as well. So we've got the former COO of Decentraland, who was also running the studio at Jagex for a good long time. So with our combined 300 years of experience, we've seen a lot of problems in gaming, and a lot of Web3 game developers never had that help. So for us, providing them that help is a massive win.
All right. Hey, I'm looking forward to it, dude. I mean, we need some change in the industry. We've seen a lot of things come through. Like Axie kind of broke it for everybody, right? Like they came out large, they came out fast. They took over the market for Web3 gaming because it was one of the first games that was playable, kind of, sort of, and like the gamification and how large scale they were, the opportunities they provided, and then after they kind of went bust with everything that was going on with Axie, they went from 1,500 to like $5 an asset. Their tokens dumped. But they built out Ronin, and I mean, I can't take it away from Ronin. I didn't love Sky Mavis, you know what I'm saying? But as far as like Ronin goes, they've been doing killer when it comes to like the gaming aspects in the industry. But it's just we haven't seen that level of hype for games, I don't think, since then. And every game that's come after has had to face the stigma of, oh, it's a scam, oh, it's they're just gonna pump and dump, oh, they don't really care, they're just trying to fleece everybody for everything they've got, and I think people forget that ultimately, like, this is an industry, it's a business that people are trying to run. Yes, they're trying to make money. Everybody that's putting money in is trying to make a profit in some way, shape, or form. Some people do it more sustainably. Some people do it less. But like, I don't know. Are we ever gonna hit that high again? Are we just too
Yes, yeah,
young?
we are. I mean, the thing is about Axie is like I kind of looked at Axie when I first got into the industry, and I kind of joined out of spite. I was like, how the hell can a game about random creatures that looks like a flash game from like 10 years ago, and this was back in 2021, how can this flash game looking thing with characters with leaks on their tails and pumpkins and shit be like having 90% day one retention? I didn't even care about the monetization because it wasn't all that. I mean, I was working at the time on a game that was spending $300,000 a day on user acquisition and making obviously more. But for me, it was like, how is this game so sticky? What is it about this game that keeps people coming back? And it looked like it was just the incentives. It was just like pay people to play and they'll kind of do anything. So, it's about finding a way that the incentive is to earn stuff, but to actually have a real player driven economy which makes a huge difference. Like having a player driven economy where people actually want the stuff as opposed to just selling the token. Because if you look at how that worked with the amount of smooth love potion that was being generated, that was only ever going to succeed when the market was absolutely ripping. And as soon as that left, as soon as that ability left, the whole thing collapsed down on it because games can only retain attention as long as they're producing new content and as long as there's a reason to come back every day. The only reason to come back is to sell someone else your asset. It's not a great reason. Like people sell stuff on, Counter Strike and the rest, but they also sell it and play it. It takes a very long time for a market to develop where there are purely people in it for the buying and selling. Like World of Warcraft, you could probably play that just by, playing in the auction house. But you again have to be someone who loved WoW enough to get into it, enough to know what these things are, as opposed to, pure speculation. I mean, you wouldn't just join WoW because you like the stock market and you think that, oh, it's going to be fun to play the auction house. Like there's a whole law that goes with it. There's a whole thing. And I think if you make something that from the start attracts people and makes them want to be part of that world, and you make the currencies in that world and the jobs and the things that you can do in that world redemptive, as in you can put time into crafting, and then your crafting items can be sold, and that gives you money to do your other objectives in the game, but not just to take out or skim profit. Because if you're crafting in a Web3 game, you're crafting just to sell it and make money. You're not really crafting for the people who want to buy it to use that. You're crafting items that you hope people will buy. Um, not and they are only buying them particularly because they want us to speculate on them. So you need to actually have things happening, a game economy, and something that people love. It's also the same thing about UGC. UGC doesn't just start and work from zero. You have to have like, how many years was it before Roblox became absolutely massive? How many years before Minecraft became the monster that it is today? Fortnite as well. Fortnite, you can now play as basically any anime character, any like musician, any kind of, you can play as a Cardassian, you can do whatever you like. Now, that all started on a core of a new type of game mode that was fun. That was based on another really exciting, successful new game. PUBG, and they basically plus one and turned it into the first metaverse. But that took years, years and years and years to get that right. So when you're building games, like even the simple games, there is so much around it, the economy, the things that need to work. You can't just go from a standing start. You actually have to build that layer of fun, that layer of repetition, that layer of excitement. Even if your eventual game is going to be more marketplace oriented, like many of these games are not the first version, like Counter Strike, it's gone through its whole thing, but it's been years of love for that game. So that's what we need. We need to get those games that are beloved, and once we get that, we'll be really happy.
Uh, yeah. Um, you covered so many topics there, dude, and like really, like my focus with Web3, like my big interest in Web3, honestly, was the UGC aspect and how we can tie that one into the monetization. Because if you look at games like Second Life, if you look at games like Project Entropia back in the day with the real money and real money trading, we have games that already, even as Web 2 games, had some sort of monetization to them, whether it was gold selling in uh, RuneScape or WoW, whether people were selling assets in Second Life. There's a market for that with Web 2 gamers, right? And Web3 I saw was like a back end rail that allowed it more intuitively in a game, easier without having to worry about getting scammed or going to a website or something that would end up draining your accounts or end up with a virus on your computer or something. It's a level of protection for people that participate, but also a level of vulnerability for people who aren't safe or secure, right? So they're it's a double edged sword. And with games like Second Life, where they had the UGC content that people were able to make, with the advent of NFTs and ERC 1155 from 721, like there's a lot of ability now to create really cool shit, and we're just not doing it in the space. Like we're all just saying, hey, here's a token, hey, here's an NFT. But why don't we have UGC marketplaces where people can create an NFT factory based on assets that are available in game from a a mod generator or an asset generator that allows you to create stuff in the game, like Second Life, where you could create assets and then sell them to other people. We can do that in Web 2 for the last 10, 20 years. Why haven't we integrated that into an NFT factory that you get that NFT factory, you create the base asset, and then you could sell individual assets to people from that factory for X number of assets until it's minted out. Basically, like you could turn that into like a 2,000 item contract and have it where they could sell 2,000 items from that. It's a whole new monetization level for the company, for the users, and it meaningfully changes the game in some way, shape, or form. Um, it allows you to have a new skin or a new design or a new weapon or a new house in the event of like prefabs for like Minecraft. Like there's so many opportunities we have in the space, but nobody does it. Nobody's doing it. And it's crazy to me.
That's just the game suck, mate. You need good games. Like none of this is feasible without a good game that people want to play. Like if you have a good game that people want to play, then you can maintain this kind of thing. You can have marketplaces. But what we've done and what's been always the problem with the games in Web3 is the marketplace came first. The asset came first. The idea of the rarity came first. It's not that this particular sword or this particular thing was sought after. It's we were telling people, like the rest of the industry was telling people, this is the good item to have. You're going to want this item. You're going to want this kind of thing. And also, the quality has just been low. I mean, it's very easy to create pixel art games, right? I mean, I'm not like dunking on Cambria or something like that, but it is not the same as creating like games in RuneScape. When I first joined Jagex, there was a crew of people, about 15, 20 people, just texturing stuff, like literally all day, every day, just texturing stuff from Classic and putting it into the version of RuneScape that everyone hated, which was hilarious to me. But that's what happens. You need a lot of people to make a lot of items, to make a lot of gameplay, to make a lot of these things come to pass. And so far, we haven't seen that because we haven't seen the quality in the gameplay. We haven't seen the quality in basically anything. But that's what we're here to change, really. I mean, that's why we do it. Because we look at the games, we look at the teams, and we work out, are these games going to be viable? What are the numbers like? All of that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
I completely. Can you guys hear me well, by the way?
Hey, there we
Yeah.
go. Welcome in, Jane.
What's up, boys? Therese, thank you so much for having me, brother. Matt, we've had a great chat as well. We were on a great space last week, boys. How y'all doing? So good to hear your takes and so good to learn about Warp. And I just want to say, man, like
Awesome.
Matt, I completely agree, bro. Like we don't have a strong IP. We don't have a game where we can rally the troops around. And by the troops, I mean like the actual gamers, not the goddamn extractors who exist in our industry. Like I hopped on a meeting with one of our mods, and she's from the Philippines. And that the reason for that is because most of our players for Voxies are from the Philippines and from Brazil. And we had a talk about like just she was telling me like what's going on her side. Essentially, what's going on is she's part of like a bunch of groups on Telegram, on Discord, where people are just like spreading the word to one another about, hey, this game you can make a lot of money if you go in there and you can farm 1, 2, 3. And people there's a huge community of people like that who are in touch with one another on all sorts of private chats where they just rally each other to games where they can extract the goddamn shit out of anything out there that's extractable.
Exactly.
And the
Yeah.
problem is,
100%.
and it's a huge problem because what happens is the actual projects, like the actual games or the leadership or the marketers, like, oh, look, we have like 5,000 people playing the game, daily active users. And then they're going to go to investors and be like, hey, man, look, we got 5,000 users. You guys should give us more money. Investors don't know any better. They don't
Yep.
know that those 5,000 people are going to disappear in like a fart in the wind as soon as like there's nothing left to extract. And they're like, oh, sure, here's some more money. And then as soon as
And
something
the other
happens,
thing, they don't even know that 5,000 users is a drop in the fucking bucket, mate. Like, I mean, we released a hyper casual game, just a words and quiz company that no one's ever heard of, Swedish based, it's called Mag Interactive. We released a hyper casual that had 60 million downloads in a week. 60 million downloads.
Oh
And it's a
wow.
hyper casual game. They're not going to play that forever. But I mean, for real, 5,000 is nothing. Like we would put 5,000 users a day through a game that we would test after working on it for like 2 or 3 weeks. Like 5,000 users a day, like buying 5,000 users to test if that game's good enough. Like we would close down games. When I was working at King, we shut down games that were making $250,000 a day because that wasn't quote unquote King money. 250K a day, and
Wow.
that game wasn't even good enough. You see, the difference is this: no one fucking knew. The investors didn't know. The builders didn't know the actual standard what you need to hit. Like when I was a King, they rented out the entirety of Barcelona football stadium, Camp Nou, for a fucking party for 1,500 people. Like the
Wow.
entirety of the football stadium. Like the Barcelona office were absolutely going crazy. They were like, sliding on the grass and jumping up and down and all of the rest of it. But that is the money. They flew everyone from the entire company, even the Japan like marketing office flew them all over there. They had their own travel agent. I got to fly like business class on fucking Emirates because we were going to visit Tokyo Game Show because they didn't region lock where you could travel, which was a great scam from me and my buddy at the time, back in 2016 or whenever. But it was crazy. Like the amount of money these people were making, it paid off the entirety of every sort of thing in like I think it was 3 days. 3 days of revenue paid that off. I mean, if you look at the month's revenue statistics last year, think Candy Crush, like God knows how many years old now, 12 or something, 98 million a month. The top game is that stupid fucking game where you just switch from left to right and its adverts are all over Twitter, where you have pluses on your soldiers and then minuses and shit. That game made $110 million dollars a month. And that is something that even a fucking retarded Web3 studio could make, yet none of them do. Why? Because none of them study. None of them actually look at the games that are out there. They just think, I like this game because I'm fucking retarded. And the VCs have given me money because they also played that game. We have a guy from Riot Games. We're going to make the next thing, or we're going to make the next fucking Steam. No, you're not, you fucking cretin. Like these things take fucking 15 years to make for a reason. That's why they're worth billions of dollars. You absolute ass blaster. This is
I
the real
share I
fucking
share the same
problem.
frustration, man. I share the same anger and frustration at the founders because what happens is those founders oftentimes they will hire passionate, hungry people on their teams, but that still doesn't solve the problem that the founders are absolutely stupid, incompetent dipshits who don't know how to run a business, man. They're
Yep.
just fucking delusional, and
And
they raised millions, man, during the
and
NFT craze of
hundreds of
like
fucking
Oh yeah.
2000.
millions. I mean, look at fucking
And
Paradise
they're
Tycoon.
living
That thing raised
and they're
123
living off of
million.
that right now. They're living off of it
Yep.
until now. I'm telling you, man. Like there's a
Yep.
lot of games still out here. They're surviving on the runway that they still have for 2021. And those
You know,
dipshits are also going to
And they're
shut
still
down
no
this year a
better
lot
though.
more.
hopefully. I mean, one of the things that I think is a true fucking like real way to judge if a game studio is run by someone who should run a game studio or not is how much salary are the fucking devs taking?
Oh
If
yeah.
the people running the studio are taking like fucking 10, 15 grand a month salaries when they've just got VC, if they're spending like millions on marketing campaigns when they don't have a fucking product, these people should be fired out of fucking cannon straight into the sun. Because the amount of
That's the
poor, like
problem.
innocent gamers have been duped by a nice flashy video so you can knock up relatively quickly now. It's insanity. It's insanity.
That's the problem though, Matt. Like when it comes down to it, like when we get those, and this is my argument against token and TGE, right? And this is why I say games go into TGE to die. Because what
Yep,
happens is they go and they VC fundraise, they get X number of
yep,
millions of dollars, they fund their runway for the next
yep.
2 to 3 years, they build some mediocre shit game, and then they launch their token to satisfy their investor requirements. Once they satisfy the investor requirements, if the token dumps, it's out of their hands. It's on the market. So they don't give a shit. They've made their money. They've been making their salaries. The team's getting paid already from investor funding. Now it's just whether or
And
not the
they go and
investors can
start new
recoup
books.
their shit.
They walk out of that and they walk into a plum fucking job at like one of the biggest companies in the world, managing their blockchain shit after they've
Yeah,
just blown
to help
53
them
million
now
up someone's
fail
fucking ass.
fail up as well, and that's where the problem
Yep.
is, because it's like, oh, this guy was a founder of the XYZ company, and they fundraised tens of millions of dollars.
And
They
you know,
also failed
the worse
terribly.
you do, the better you go up, right? Because
Yeah,
if you blasted all your money on fucking parties and fucking marketing and taking
you've
shit
met
tons of,
everybody.
yeah,
You got everybody in your
yep,
Rolodex. Like, yeah,
exactly. You sold your
it's a circle
NFTs
jerk
15 times over.
industry for sure.
Yeah, and that
Guys,
goes all the way up to the trains. It does.
I was at a pitch competition for startups at Consensus in Toronto last
Mhm.
year,
Yeah.
and there was like 20. I was there. I saw the whole thing from start to finish. There were like 20 startup projects. I think four of them had something to do with gaming, and I swear to God, every single one of them, as soon as they stepped up to pitch, I saw like some of the investors like face palming. They were like, "Oh my
Yeah.
God, fuck off! Like I don't want to listen to a Web
This
three.
shit
They're not into it,
again.
man.
Yep.
They're
Yeah.
fucking done, bro. They're done with Web3 games, man, because of what you guys are talking about. Investors
Exactly.
are fucking done.
But you know what? It's the
Yeah, I
same
mean,
thing with
many of them
everything
left
else in the
investing to jump
industry.
into games. It's insane. Like I knew a game studio that basically got like when I set up my studio, we got 1.27 million funding in the bear. We got up to 250,000 active players, and we run our runway exactly when we told them we would. And you know, we did exactly everything that they asked us to do, including making a stupid fucking Telegram app and getting a certain amount of people on our social. They didn't fucking give a shit that we had a viable game.
Yep.
What happens is if you don't pay the merry-go-round, if you don't like literally come from VC backing, you'll get fucked. We came from industry where we actually concentrated on making the game from fucking day one. Our first release was before the last check landed. But the people who were, you know, of our cohort, one of them got funded 5 million. He had never run a game studio before.
Yep.
Like he was a kid out of ventures, straight out of ventures. And I asked our investors, why did you give so much money to this guy who's clearly got no fucking clue? Who's trying to resurrect a dead IP for a dead gaming genre? And they were like, oh, he's got a lot of contacts. I was like, bro, I could literally get you on the phone to the fucking head of King, the head of like 3 or 4 different companies. I was saying the same thing to the guy from Avalanche. He was like, oh yeah, so what kind of contacts do you have in the industry? I was like, well, are you playing Arc Raiders? He was like, yeah, I've got it open on the other screen. I was like, bro, I literally have that guy as a first contact on LinkedIn. I could go for coffee with him tomorrow in Stockholm. Like, what more do you fucking want? Like, you need genuine
Brother,
people.
you know what the tragedy is? You know what the tragedy is? The tragic reality is? It's who got there first, bro. It's not
Yeah,
how smart you are. It's
exactly.
not how well connected you are. It's simply what it simply was who got there first during
First
the
mover
bubble.
advantage.
And it could have been the dumbest dipshit, which most 99% of the time I
It
think it
was.
was, who were just there at the time. I'm telling you, man, I
Right, they
know a
would
few
invest
founders
in anyone with
personally.
fucking fingers.
It's completely unfair and ridiculous, and they fucked our reputation. They failed us
Oh yeah.
entirely. They
Yep.
they ran us into the ground, man. Now what we need a Vitalik for Web3 gaming.
Mhm.
We need a
Yep.
fucking genius. We need a pioneer. We need an egghead with real vision to get into this space and build a killer IP. And that is the only way we're going to come back.
I
Because
don't.
some
100%.
mediocre,
100%.
even above mediocre, bro, even like above average is not enough. We need something fucking spectacular as a game so people can look at it and say, oh, there is something to this after all. But right now, we're
We
fucked.
need games to make just regular money. Like if games in the space made regular fucking money. If you look at Capybara Go, again, it's like Flash style graphics. Capybara Go could be made by anyone. You could vibe code something similar to that.
Yep.
Within about half an hour, you would have something that looks roughly similar. I mean, it's text based as well, so that would be even easier. Capybara Go makes 500K a day from fucking adverts alone, and it probably makes double that from in-app purchases. Like the thing is
Exactly.
that no one knew how to get from making a game that looks like that into making that game successful. And that's because Habby, the guys who made it, who also make Archero and Archero 2, have spent about 5 years refining the metagame, spending probably millions of dollars on like marketing people and all of this kind of stuff. Like at Rovio, we would happily fly people over from fucking Playtika from the biggest studio in the world, one where the CEO at some point was taking 300 million a year for some fucking reason. But we would fly those people over on 250K salaries just to do the data for these games because it is that important. Like no one knew the connection between making a game, getting that on the market, and what success actually looks like. They just looked at Axie, which were pioneers, which were
Yeah.
doing something very different, but they were relying heavily on the market going up. They
Yep.
weren't relying on like interstellar quality gameplay.
They
They
were
weren't
also
relying
one of
on
the first
cutting
games to
edge
have their
graphics.
own marketplace. They were one of the first games to like have a really large audience that was global
Yep,
in Web3. Like they did some amazing things, even though they did kind of
they
fuck us with the
sure
whole
did.
Ponzi-nomics aspects of it. But they provided a lot of opportunity for people in a lot of
Yep,
places, and they focused
yep,
on those markets, which is what nobody else was doing because everybody else was so focused on U.S., EU, Canada, Mexico, and
yep,
all of these like big money regions. They forget how much liquidity is located in Southeast Asia, South America,
yep,
Africa, all of these areas that they think are low value because people are extractive. But those
yep,
people come in, and if they're making money on it, they're willing to reinvest in it to
yep,
participate at a higher level. Whereas, like people in America, if they don't feel they're gonna make enough off of it and they don't like it, they're just not gonna participate at all.
yep. And that's the sad thing is also the massive bizarre AAA bias for this because if you look at what on-chain gaming does well and what the blockchain does well, it's not producing masses of content. It's producing like things that are permanent, things that
Yep.
keep value. And what everyone was doing was trying to create AAA games that are at best like a 2 year, 3 year thing. They require billions of dollars in marketing and like experience to make them. And then they were just outsourcing them all to like Ukrainian third party studios, which, no offense, are fantastic, but they are never going to give you the best work because they're basically working on their own world of like Escape from Tarkov with tanks. And they
Yeah.
don't give a shit about that. They're taking your money just so that they can make their game that's going to make them money in the future. I mean,
Exactly.
Shatterline
bro.
and Off the Grid came out of the same fucking studio, I think. Or was it Shatterline and
Bro, I think
Shrapnel? I can't remember.
I think if there's one lesson any of us can walk out of like from the past few years, if any part of your game depends in any way on market sentiment, then you're fucked. Like if your
Yeah,
game
100%.
and the idea of somebody playing your game and whether they feel like playing your game depends whether or not
They're gonna make
Russia's
money.
invading Ukraine or
Mhm.
whether the United States is going to attack Iran or on whether the Fed chair is this new guy who's all into high interest rates. If that shit affects people playing your game, then you're already screwed, man. You've already done it wrong from the get go. Get tokens that got them away from Web3 gaming, please, for the love of God, man. Like
I
it's
don't
just
I don't
Exactly.
I
I
think
mean,
can't.
tokens
tokens
are
need to be pushed
necessarily an
into
issue. I don't think that every game
it.
needs a token though. We
Nope.
have stable coins for a friggin' reason. All right? Like
Yeah,
we don't need an XYZ token for every game just
I
to
mean, but
give
if
you
you
some
look at
sort of
if you look at
economy.
tokens in games, like if you look at currencies in games, every single game has currencies. If you look at WoW, for example, you could say that experience is a currency that's been devalued over time because of how easy it is to level up, but it's still a currency.
Well,
If
they
someone
they,
was
they
to give you
charge you
like a billion
$60
experience
now
points,
to get to
it would
max
have a
level.
value. Exactly. So you can see that they've devalued experience because they have a better, ROI for people being at high level,
Yep.
not questing through all of the background. And that's how they can re-release vanilla versions of games to bring back that fun of the grind and all of this kind of stuff and release hardcore modes because they have the ability to manipulate that, right? But the other thing is that we seem to forget, and I don't know why we forget this, that if someone can leave your game with pretty much all the money that they went in there and spent, then your game has to be better to be sticky because you could make a Web3 Fortnite, right? And if your Web3 Fortnite wasn't as good as actual Fortnite, and they could cash out of that game and sell all of their skins and all of the things in this wonderful Web3 version and go back into regular Fortnite with $200, they're going to do that. The reason
Yeah.
why Fortnite works so well is because if you spend $200 in Fortnite, well, fuck you. You spend $200 in Fortnite,
Yep.
you might as well keep spending.
That's
And
the
this is
thing
what we
though.
also fail to believe. It's not a captive market. It's an open system. People can leave anytime they want.
Yep.
And that is good for the player, but that's only good if you present them an experience which is exciting and they want to come back to.
That's the thing though with
man,
the
and
whole.
it goes back.
No, go ahead, Indeed.
Yeah, brother. Look, it goes back to this strange perception that I only see in Web3 gaming, which is like we're a Web3 game. We don't have to be that good. Our shit is on chain. We're we're
Yeah,
we're, we're supported by blockchain technology. We can be a shit
they
game.
expect us to be
What?
shitty. Yeah,
Yeah,
It's
we
the
can't. We're not
exact
here
fucking
to compete with
opposite.
the AAA titles. Like, why on earth? Like, I went to Gamescom and I went to Art Basel. I went to other events where like there was a
Mhm.
bunch of games and booths and whatever. And Web3 gaming was always like they always took like a shitty spot at the side or in some like
All
well,
they can
obscure
afford.
area.
GDC with Arbitrum wasn't too
And
bad. So
Yeah,
it's
no,
because
that
we've
was
seen some
lovely.
of it.
How many of those games are still up? None
Tolan,
from that GDC booth.
Tolan.
Tolan's up, but that's now on abstract.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
Arbitrum, a lot of those smaller chains, Arbitrum, Linea, and
Mm.
honestly, even Abstract. Right now, I think Abstract's doing pretty well right now, but they've had a
Mhm.
lot of issues in the past with their marketing,
Yep.
with their creator relations and stuff like
Yep.
that. Avax
It's
is
still a
doing
tiny
amazing
chain,
for
man.
gaming at one point, but now they've
Mhm.
kind of winded down. They're not doing as much with gaming. They're like the coop's no longer there. A lot of people that were like these main
Mhm.
focal points for AVAX gaming aren't there anymore. The only ones
Yep.
that have consistently been pushing the Web3 gaming narrative are Ronin and IMX. Those are the two
Yep.
that have been sticking hard with it. Solana's pushing into the market now, but I mean, realistically, are they gonna do that great when all they've got are fucking Ponzinomics games like Exploited.fun and
No.
fucking Addicted and all those? Because that's all
And
we
I mean,
see that
considering how
tends to
much it costs
work.
to mint a fucking NFT on Solana, there's never going to be a game at scale that's redemptive. Like, it's just too expensive. Look, the main thing that I see for games is if you create a good game, right, that people love to play, and then you create a sequel to that game, right? Then the good thing is that all of the people who have the assets from the original game can come into the sequel and they can use those assets. You can honor them, you can dust them, you can do whatever. And that's exciting to me. Like, it's exciting that you can create a franchise where you can have your skin from the very first game and the very last game. Like that cool thing that you got for participating in the beta, you can show that off 3 games later. Like that to me
Yeah.
is meaning. Like anything that brings meaning. Like I don't ever buy NFTs. Like I think I bought like one Sappy seal or a couple of Sappy seals back in the day. But I NFTs that I get for free, I rarely sell. Like I rarely sell any NFTs I get for free because for me, it's like, a lot of people get rid of their PlayStation 2s, they get rid of the games, but they keep the safeguards because that's the memories. So I
bro, you
think
could
that,
use NFTs in such creative ways to like sort of like you're
exactly.
saying, like get people to stick to your sequels. Like for example, imagine
Yep.
you guys remember Oblivion, which is like the
Yep.
prequel to Skyrim.
I
Yep.
love that.
So like imagine when you're dude, like imagine when you're creating your character and you're sort of setting up the face and the body and whatever.
Hmm.
And then as soon as you create it, that becomes an NFT, for example. And then that just stays with you throughout. Like the Oblivion 2 and then Skyrim. Oh shit, like we know who you are. Here's that NFT you created so long ago. And then you could
Yeah,
use
you
and
can have the
like I
same
don't
face,
know,
you can have the
maybe
same character,
rise
the
in value
skins,
somehow.
so many good things. Like, this is what I
And
liked
it's a
about it,
reason for you to be like, oh shit, I already have this digital asset. Like I want to play the game again, like the sequel,
Yep.
because like I have an asset in that game. So, like you could use it in creative, sticky ways, but we're just not
Yep. Yeah, we're
See
not
creative
that
there
enough,
because
man. it's
you,
not there yet. We don't
there was
have those
no
eggheads. We
incentive
don't have
to.
those creative studios.
There was no incentive to do those creative things. Like we had this thing planned for our game when I did it of like you would actually get like a vibration when you were holding an NFT that had secrets, like the classic Zelda Stone of Agony. That if you had this particular NFT that you could find in the game, you would be able to like, uncover these secret spots by going to where the vibration was, and then you get some treasure. Like things like that haven't been done. People also think of NFTs like, oh, an NFT sword, an NFT sword is the laziest game design thing you can do because if you power creep the game, that NFT sword becomes worthless, right? So if your game gets better, and then people say, oh, but you could level up the sword. Oh, give a fuck. That just means you're going to have a boring game where everyone has one fucking item. No
yeah.
one wants to level up their iron dagger and continue playing with it. And also, if you have common fucking daggers, everyone needs a dagger to start fighting or like a sword or whatever. So everyone is going to upgrade from that dagger and try and sell it. And then as long as the price is above zero, some poor fucker is going to sit in a sweaty internet cafe making a billion of those until the price is precisely zero. So anything with that value will just get flooded out of the market. That's why when you're designing NFTs, they should be things that can only be acquired from the game. They can't be craft. Like I've never found a good way to do crafting with NFTs without like getting really fancy about having limited runs. Because if something that everyone has to have, like weapons and armor and stuff like that, is essentially unbalanceable without pissing off a ton of people, then you're fucked. Like our principle when we were doing like the division between what would be NFTs and what wouldn't, is something like armor and everything was off chain, so you could nerf it.
See, the topic that we're getting into here
Do you guys
is
also share the opinion?
oh, sorry. I just wanted to hop into this real quick for Virion
Sorry,
because
guys, I'm
Virion,
just lagging a little bit.
yeah, you're a little behind. It's all right, but I see Viri on here. She's like, if tokens are eliminated in Web3 gaming, what makes it Web3 gaming? And I think that's a lot of what people like on the top end don't understand about Web3 gaming, right? Like, you don't need a token to make it a Web3 game. It's more, it's about the technology and what it allows you to do and create and put into the game, or take out of the game and put into another game, or any number of potential
I mean,
possibilities.
I'll give you an example of a purely non-token use that no one's ever thought of a game. If you had a game that was like an exploration game with a maze, and then, for example, you have like the path that you've taken for everything, there is a way that you could then mint that as an NFT, and then you could sell that NFT to someone who would then be able to instantly explore all of those areas. There's like so many different things that you can do. So, for example, you run around and you visit every shrine in Zelda, or you pick up every Korok, and you could sell that as a like, I've been to every single location. And then bam, that is like, boom, I've collected all of those Koroks, or I've done all of this particular thing, or I've unlocked this new area that I couldn't get to before because
Dude,
I don't
or
have
you're
whatever.
playing like Flappy. You guys remember Flappy Birds?
Yep.
Like
Oh,
it was
hell
this
yeah.
game that the developer got like, death threats because like his game was so frustrating to play. But like imagine when you start that game, you get your own sort of NFT, and then if you can sort of like go through 100 hoops or something, your NFT sort of evolves or something. It becomes
Yep.
worth something more, and then this would incentivize millions of people to just play the game. Like there's ways to get creative about this shit. Like I wanted to ask you guys something. Like do you guys also believe that play to earn is dead?
No,
I
I don't
think
think it
play to
is.
earn is not dead in the. I think maybe classical play to earn, as in that I just exist in this game and the game gives me money for existing, may be dead. But I think the play to earn can be. If you look at say InfoFi and the questing and all of this kind of thing, if you look at it as like UA spend, right? If I'm spending $300,000 a day, if you are clever with how that UA is spent, if that money ends up in the pockets of the people who actually play the game to experience the game and to get hooked in it, then whatever that like CPI is, the cost per install, and how sticky they are, that has a value that can be defined. So if it's saying that, you know, paying someone 10 cents is enough for them to go into that game and have like a 50-50 chance of retaining in that game, you're going to pay them 10 cents to do that. And would you prefer to pay a person to play
It's
your
very
game?
interesting you
Or
say
would you
that.
prefer to pay someone else? And questing systems tried to do it.
It's very interesting you say that because like I believe essentially like if you're gonna get play to earn as part of your game, I really believe like the only way to do it and do it sustainably is if your game is essentially a gambling game or a wagering game. Like I don't see any other use case for play to earn where it's sustainable. Like there's gonna have to be a
There is
wagering
play to
element
earn.
to your
Like
game.
if you look at RuneScape, right? RuneScape is God knows 20 something years old game, and I mean I was working there 4 years from like 2008 to 2012, so it's got to be even fucking older than I think. But yeah, it's an ancient fucking game. It's an open economy. People farm gold in that, and they sell it. People farm a free thing that you can get for free in the game, and they sell it to speed up the time to do it. So play to earn is basically about someone's time is worth essentially less than yours. Your time is more valuable to you, and you're willing to pay $50 for not grinding that thing, and someone else is
Exactly.
willing to spend 50 hours to grind that
Pay to
thing. That
progress,
is a
not pay
market
to
with a
win.
dynamic. Exactly. So
And
you
that's
are
what
paying
WoW
for that
did
gold.
really
Yeah.
well.
Yep. I mean, but all of these things had black market stuff. Like a lot of people were mining gold in RuneScape and selling. A lot of people who went into Web3 were doing it for those exact reasons that they were actually, you know, getting items or accounts up and selling them. Like selling accounts is not necessarily a bad thing if you make it like transparent, because as long as the time that those things it takes is worth doing, then it's worth having it. But if you're just holding a thing and getting something that you can sell for just owning it, then that's fatal. Like everything that you like, proof of work, right, exists on Bitcoin. proof of play essentially is a funny concept because what they do is nothing near. But if you actually have played for an hour, you've gained a certain amount of resources from that game, whether it's skins from killing wolves or whatever, or it's whatever it is, and that has value in your time. Now, mobile games are great at basically allowing you to shortcut that shit. Even idle games, like they'll do the same thing, but that has value in time, and that time is quantifiable to money. And if you are willing to pay another person peer to peer like $10 for 50,000 WoW gold, then that's what it's worth.
Yeah.
And those markets can't exist until you have people who are actually dedicated to playing it, and extracting from it is not worthwhile for your top end users. If you're whale extracting from the game, if it's easy for whales to extract, your game won't work as play to earn. It has to be hard for your top level players to extract, as in the token value, the currency value. The currency value has to be something that needs to be mined. It needs to be done through hard work, through grinding, and then sold on to people who are then willing to use it. And
I
that's
think,
really,
Matt, like the
you have to
complexity
have a
that a lot of
setup.
founders don't appreciate is like, I think a lot of founders don't appreciate the complexity that goes into actually executing something like what you're describing. Like getting something like, I don't want to say tokenomics because we're talking about play to
Mhm.
earn, but let's, for the sake of argument, call it tokenomics. Getting that right, and the onboarding, and the UI, and the login integration, and somehow figuring out a way to make like everyday people who are not crypto native able to engage with your game while it's play to earn. Dude, that shit is hard, man. Like, and I haven't seen a company.
We have all the people that can do that stuff. We have game balancers. Like for a game that we were planning to build in King, we hired a PhD guy who was literally there to spreadsheet and game balance. We have game economists. Like the thing that really pissed me off when raising was people's constant question, who's your tokenomics expert? And then pointing me to people who'd never fucking shipped games. And I was like, this guy, like I literally balanced like all of these cues and mini clips, like April Paul, for like how much they should cost, how long they take to get, like all of the stats. I had a fucking physics sandbox for it. Don't tell me that some fucking kid who just walked out of like fucking like what is it, McKinsey or something, is going to tell me how my game economy works when they've got no fucking experience. Unless someone has worked on $1 million a day game in a balancing role, they are fucking incapable of doing anything about tokenomics. I'd love to see, there are so many in 22, 23 even, there are so many tokenomics experts or tokenomics companies or tokenomics consultancies. How many of those fucking exist anymore? Because at the end of the day, it doesn't fucking matter. The CEXs will drain you, the market makers will drain you, the calls will dump on you, the airdrop people will cheat immediately. No one gives a fuck. Like everyone is just in it for that sweet, sweet cash. It's like you get given Monad or whatever. You fucking cheat as fast as you can. And of course the price goes up. Everyone will cheat as soon as they get the fucking thing. They'll throw it straight out the window. Like that is whatever tokenomics expert, they will never talk to you about like, okay, maybe you should actually rebalance it so that you have crafting items are in batches of 5 and then you need to refine them. The refining process, like no one will ever fucking talk to you about that kind of shit. This doesn't
The
interest
Web3
them.
gaming crash or the industry's reputational crash, it didn't just cost us users, it cost us talent. There's so many people, talented individuals who just left the industry. They're like, fuck this. We're not going to be part, we don't want to be associated with this. And then they went on to, in their idea, get a proper job in Web2 or otherwise. So it's not just users that we lost. We also lost the talent you're describing. It's very hard to find that talent now.
Well, that's because they got tired of the bullshit. Like, I mean, realistically, I've worked for a couple companies now as CM, and like, aside from the communities are usually wonderful. You know what I'm saying? Like, the communities are great. I love hanging out with all these guys. These guys are fucking like these guys are sharp. They pick up on shit quick. They have amazing questions. They participate. They do all the shit that you would hope that a community would do, right? And then like, but then you have to deal with the bullshit from the company that you work with too, right? You have to deal with the corporate style fucking mentality in a wild west space where everybody does whatever the fuck they want, right? Like, and it's frustrating because like you
It's
have the
frustrating because
amazing aspects.
you see the ideas and you see those things and not being honored. Like, you know, Brawl Stars was in soft launch for the longest fucking time. I can't remember if it was like 200 days, 400 days. But you know what actually brought Brawl Stars back was the community manager. Fucking loved the game and really fucking knew exactly what needed solving. And they, guess what? They took a chance on them. They took a chance on bringing the community manager in to lead the game. and that turned it around, and it's now making them billions.
Yep. And I mean, like, if you
So
look
Reese,
at
there's
it,
something that you can probably relate to quite a lot, which is like I've also worked with communities a lot in the past few years in gaming, and there's an issue I've ran into quite a lot. Now, going back to the point about founders being absolute fucking idiots who don't
Yep.
understand marketing, who don't understand that community is everything. Dude, I've gone back to projects about the community feedback about and constructive feedback, not give us more money, but actual feedback
Mhm.
about the game. And it's dismissed. They don't give a shit, man. They're like,
yep.
oh, that's
Yep.
great. Well, especially when the founders are developer like oriented, like they're devs, that's usually a
Oh,
problem
we
because
know
they
what's
don't
wrong.
appreciate.
We know what the issue is. We know what you're
Exactly,
doing.
and they have no
We know.
idea, dude. They have
These
not a
guys,
clue.
these guys aren't developers. They don't know shit. Fuck these guys. Ah, you know,
Exactly,
like
dude.
Yeah, but they're not
Reese,
game developers. That's the thing.
you've gone
They're
through this.
fucking
I can tell
finance
you've gone through the same
fintech
shit, bro.
developers.
You've gone
oh
through the
yeah.
same
Yeah.
shit.
I had that
I
happen to me
mean,
with Blast Royale. I was telling them like
yeah.
from the get go when I got into Blast Royale, I told them and I was like, dude, like you guys are pushing this token. You guys have a really cool game. You guys have your bugs and shit. That's expected in Web3. Nobody gives a shit. Bugs happen. Fuck it, right? But
Yep.
then like your backend, your setup for your token and being able to put it into the game and take it out of the game, spend it in the game, do anything with the game goes directly through tickets. Jira and shit like that. Like, there's no back end infrastructure. You guys are gonna get wrecked on this. And they were like, "Oh, we're working
Yep.
on it. We're just trying to push the updates for the game and blah blah blah." Dude, you're going through TGE. Fuck the game at the moment. Get your token infrastructure set up. Like, if people
Yep.
can't spend money in the game, they're going to sell their token. They're not going
Yep.
to
You know what
keep
it
it.
is, Therese? There's a thing, bro. I've noticed it, and it's very unfortunate, but there is a thing where developers, some of them, they look down on marketing. They
Yep.
don't
Yep.
understand it. They don't respect it. They think it's a bullshit thing. I've seen it with my own eyes. I've heard it in conversations, bro. They don't take that shit seriously. In their minds, they know everything. They have a big ego. I'm not talking about everybody. I'm just talking in a general sense. And
Yep.
they're just kind of like, yeah, dude, I'm a developer. Fuck you. What do you know? I'm the one building.
Yep.
I'm the one building digital
Exactly. It's the
skyscrapers.
same in
I don't
it's the
need
same in
community
startup.
feedback.
Yep.
It's just the same in all startup land, right? Like I had a music tech startup with a dev guy, and he was basically like, "Well, I'm developing it. I should have the majority of the startup." It's like, motherfucker, like I got us in front of like actual chats to develop this thing. I got
Yep.
us like people who are willing to work for it pro bono while we're still starting up.
Yep.
None of that mattered to the guy who was just like, "I'm building it."
Yep.
I think the thing is that when you get people who are not experienced in the games industry, they're not experienced working in teams, and someone's just given them a massive fat sack of cash that they're just sitting on, they're like, of course I'm God. It's the same
Yep.
with NFT founders. When NFT founders basically had everyone sucking their dick because people managed to, swap their NFT and flip it for like 3 ETH and they minted them for
Yep.
free. Like, of course, everyone's going to fucking love you. I mean, just look at how many times Frank D. God's kind of fucked everything up, and people still love them for it. They still fucking suck his dick. I mean, it's the same with anyone who's minted any NFTs
Yeah.
for games. No matter how far they've trashed the fucking studio, no matter whether they like go down with the ship or they don't go down with the ship, like you look at any of those motherfuckers, you will see people greasing them, glazing them in the comments. And these are the people who are exploiting them. So the people who are like, minting these NFTs, knowing that they had no fucking runway and selling them to the community just because back in the day, in 2021, they had enough money to convince people to buy these fucking things and calls to get on whitelists. It used to be free to have calls in 21 because everything was going up, right? You just give them a whitelist and they get like
Yeah,
three
because you
NFTs
can
that they
get
can
an
mint and they
ETH
flip
off of a
to.
friggin' off of an
Yeah.
NFT. Like, of
I mean,
course.
it's just fucking ridiculous. And
But
as soon as it was easy to mint NFTs, just like as soon as it was easy to make tokens, like that value just dropped out of the market. It was blur farming. The fact that it was discovered that people were so retarded they didn't realize royalties weren't enforceable on fucking things, and it was a mess. Like
Guys, I wanted to
absolutely
drive your
beautiful
attention
little
to
mess.
like a crazy case study. This blew my
Mhm.
mind. Okay, so Dapper Labs. I'm not going to talk details, but I was in touch with like one of their founders a year ago. Anyway, we're talking about their marketing and all that. I don't. They were like one of the first NFTs, Crypto Kitties. They have a game on
oh,
Telegram. I can't remember what it's called. It's the biggest piece of shit I've ever seen in my life, and I'm
Mhm.
talking about a studio with unlimited resources. Man, they have
Yep.
infinite money, bro. Play their
Yeah,
game on Telegram. It is an
yeah, I'm on them.
absolute embarrassment, bro. It's the
But that's
shittiest
the
the user
thing.
interface. It's awful, bro. It's
They
shocking to
they
me
don't
that a
care.
studio
They don't
they
give a
don't
fuck,
give a
man.
shit, bro. They don't.
Exactly,
That's
They
they
our
don't
don't
problem.
care.
care
That's the
because they
problem.
know that they're a big name. They're going to launch this game,
Mhm.
and even if it fails, they're going to make a shit ton of money off of it because people are going to
Yep.
try to
And
get
if you
in
tell
to
them
make
that,
money.
and Therese, if you tell them that, you know what's going to happen? They're going to say, "Fuck you. We're Dapper Labs, bitch,"
Oh yeah,
and
Mhm.
but
they have an
yeah,
ego.
and that's the crazy thing though. That's the crazy thing.
Yeah.
Most people in Web3 are too big for their fucking britches. Like, oh,
Yeah.
I'm one of the top companies in Web3. Blah, 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 blah. You realize that Web3 is not all that big, bro. Like, you're not shit compared to like Fortune 500 companies. You're not even
100%.
close. But like, yeah, you're big. Web3 is a
All I'll
money
say,
maker.
so
But
so you guys can
damn.
get an understanding of what's going on with Dapper Labs, guys. I urge you to do this. Go on Google right now and type Dapper Labs glass door, and you will see exactly what I'm talking about. The culture there apparently is the most toxic, extremely toxic. The
You know
C
what
suite
though?
is
Studios
arrogant,
studios are
abusive.
like that
Mhm.
though. So like most studios are like that.
Mhm.
Most studios have a toxic. Go look up fucking Blizzard on Glassdoor. You know what I'm saying? Like
I
But
mean,
at least
it does
Blizzard
depend
has
on the
something to
studio.
show for it.
I mean, it does depend on the studio. I mean, there's been some
yeah.
bad ones, and there's been some relatively good ones. I'd say, like back in the day when I worked at King, it was pretty good. I wouldn't want to work there now. I mean, it's just absolute cancer. I think for me, the thing that killed it was when we went into the Stockholm studio and we walked past the table football that was all women for table football, and then it didn't work for some fucking reason. It just like, whoever made it didn't ever make a table football thing, and it was like, and no one was allowed to play it because it was too fucking noisy. And then you go there, and there's a guy who's apparently a coder. He looks like a fucking pillow because he's got no arms and no legs. And my buddy turns around to me and is like, "Fuck, man, they hired a pillow." And I nearly fucking creased up in front of the poor lad. This was just like these things rot from the inside, and I think it's good that we have a new industry. But at the same time, it cannot be run by the people who literally have everyone queuing up to suck their fucking dicks. It's not possible. It's not possible to run an industry like that, man.
Oh.
Even the Roman emperor had a little slave guy in the back on his giant penis chariot, which was actually a fucking penis chariot, literally standing on a giant cock, saying, "You're still a human." Like, there's no one in Web3 that has that person who says, "You're still a human." They need that fucking slave. That was the thing
Yeah.
the Romans did that we don't do. Still a
You
Yeah.
guys,
man.
I'm almost out of battery. I'm almost out of
No,
battery. I really have to
same.
run. Matt, follow me back on X, bro. I'll DM you. I'd love to
I
hop
will
on a
do.
quick call. Therese, brother,
Sure
thank you
thing, man.
so much for this opportunity, bro. Love you guys, and I'll see you on the next space, okay?
Of course, Nadim. Have a wonderful day, dude. Again, marketing lead from Voxy Tactics. Check it out. Voxy Tactics is a game on Web3. They've been out for a little while now. Take a look at them, man. And I'll catch you next time, Nadim.
I'll see you later, brothers. Take
Good
care,
one, bro.
guys.
All right.
Yeah,
On that
man.
note, we're
Thanks for
at the
inviting me,
hour,
man.
bro. Of course, man. I always have fun chatting with you guys, man. Like we talk about real shit. A lot of people just want to chill
100%.
and pump their bags and stuff. And we have
Yep.
fun. We get a little wild with it, but you know what?
Mm,
That's part of being able to do our own shows and have our own fun with things.
exactly.
We get to be who we are instead of who
Hmm.
corporate America wants us to be. Um, but uh, but yeah, brother, we're gonna do the giveaway here. I usually run a giveaway
Hmm.
on the live events. We end up doing duck races. So we're gonna see which ducks win
Nice.
today, and then we're gonna wrap it up. Let me see stage check.
Awesome. Thank you so much. I'm gonna go back in and check on my little one who's doing judo. And yeah, I'll catch you on the next one, Tarish.
All right, brother.
Take it
I'll
easy.
catch you Thursday. Have a good one.
Cheers. Thanks, man. Bye bye.
All right. All right. Let's get this. Let's get this. Let's get it. Let's see what we're gonna have as far as our winners today. Oh, I did it open two. Oh, because I had another one open before. Okay, looks like tracking is going good again. Finally, let me get that open sheets. And we'll get the duck race started. I hope you guys had some fun hearing us yap today. This wasn't our usual space. This wasn't how we usually do things. This wasn't our usual live on Discord like we normally do. So I'm hoping I hope you guys had fun. I know I had some fun today with it, because I got to do shit that I enjoy doing instead of just sitting here trying to troll the internet and figure out what we're doing for a topic. I love Web3 gaming. I think it's something that we're gonna see really take off in the future as we go. Um, I think that we need to expand a little bit. We need to like have some serious builders in the space who are really gonna come in and like revolutionize how we operate, how like Web3 plays a part in what we do on a day-to-day basis, right? Like the ways that we interact with our content, the ways that we generate content, the ways that we really like make things better, and make it feel better for people participating as users and not just people participating as you know, yeah, you know what I mean. Like user participation, user improvement, user quality of life, and user ability to do things in the space and in the game based on that. All right, so I've got the list. We've got 52 people being counted right now. I'm probably gonna have to remove a couple because I know Matt and Team are in there. Let me see here. Duck race. We're gonna do the ducks. I appreciate you guys for the questions, man. And Virion, I'm sorry for your virgin ears. Matt is wild. Matt has fun. Matt is just a really down to earth guy. He's not like one of those very corporate CEOs. He just rocks out, man. And it's something that I enjoy about Matt. But it doesn't make him very like PG or PG-13 or like friendly for family. And NSFW kind of style with him. And it's an awesome time with that though. So yeah. All right, we've got 50 people on the list. We've got 30 seconds on the clock. I'm going to get this up and running here. Let's move this over here, move this over here. Bang. All right. I love gaming. I've been a gamer since the 90s. Since the 90s. I started gaming probably early 90s with my cousin. And like a lot of you probably weren't even born when I started gaming, right? So like the game industry on Web 2 as well as Web 3, I've been super passionate about for a really long time, and I want to see it be a success in Web 3. It's just that it's so frustrating looking at how most companies and how the industry is trending when it comes to how they're operating, like what they're doing with assets and how they're trying to generate revenue and all the dumb shit that they do. It's just so frustrating, bro. But yeah, let's kick this party off. We're gonna do our three winners for today. 10 USDT each. I have a bot. I checked the numbers. If you were here for 5 minutes, you didn't get entered. I did it for I think it was 25 minutes for today's milestone requirements. So we're gonna kick this off and we're gonna get quacking. So ready, steady, quack for your ducks. Quack! Let's go! Let's go! Hey guys! Hey guys! Quack for your ducks, guys! I don't hear you quacking. We've got Quick Stuff, Jerry Gold, Your Study, and Pavan in the lead right now. Let's see. Dave trying to sneak up from the rear. We've got, oh, who's this? Kyle the Shill God pushing for the win, and it looks like he's going to take it. Congratulations, Kyle, for the first win of today. All right, let's get this going. Let's get the next one up. Ready, steady. Let's get quacking. Go. Hey, stay wacko. Welcome in, brother. I saw you just slide through the doors. You got Your Study, Jules, Exy in the lead. If Exy wins again, Exy wins so friggin' much. There goes Annie, Derek James. We've got a few people in the lead right now. Derek James falling back. Your girly in the lead still. Khalifa pulling up from the rear. Who's that? Is that 2VM? We've got Hamez Ben. Who's that? Who's sneaking up? And it looks like it's Crypto Giant. Congratulations, Crypto Giant. We've got our second winner for today. Let's ready, steady, and quiet. We've got our third winner coming up. Ready. Let's see. We've got Utkarsh pushing forward. Sarah, Emmy, Blessed. Everybody's in the lead right now. And everybody falls back. Caroline, BTC, Annie, Emmy, and Apex Predator in the lead right now. Who's that sneaking up from the rear, though? It looks like Thon Ton, Nadia, Dave, and Mimo. Old Man Deco gets the winnow. Congratulations, Mimo. You've been winning quite a bit, too. Jeez. All right, congrats to all of our winners. Open a ticket with your EVM wallet and tag me, please. Create a ticket. All right. Congrats again, guys. Thank everybody. Yeah, no, that Mimo's duck was like zoom. I don't know. She came out of nowhere, bro. He came out of nowhere. He was just like, nope, I'm taking it. This is another win for me. Screw y'all. I want my USDT. But yeah. So on that note, we're gonna end the show. I appreciate everybody for taking the time to stop in. If you enjoyed the show today, if you like Matt, if you like Nadim, check out Warp Chain. They're on X. Warp Game Chain. It's a little funny with the X tag there, but Warp Game Chain. They're an up and coming publisher in the space. They just did their node sales. They're doing I believe they did their TGE as well already. They've got some things coming out. They're making pushes. They're got some really big supporters in the space, especially around Web3 gaming. So I would give them a peek. They're an awesome group. I love them. Having fun with them is a great experience regularly. And then of course Voxy Tactics. Voxy Tactics isn't a game that I've exactly enjoyed myself, but I also haven't touched this game in a while. It was a game that I played around with a little bit ago, but I haven't done much with it since. So maybe I'll give them a shot. I like Nadim. I like their team. I think that they're trying to do cool things. It's just it wasn't a game that I enjoyed because it was sort of like hey, hello. Um, it wasn't my thing. You know what I'm saying? Like their style of gameplay wasn't my thing, but I can see how some people enjoy it. So like I would go and take a peek at them, and I appreciate them for coming up and
Here
giving me somebody
is
to
where
talk
you
to,
and your friends
something
can
to
create
chat about.
epic experiences, and foes can
It's
battle.
just pretty cool. And of
Challenge
course,
only
everybody
the
that wins
greatest
in
can
Web3,
conquer.
it's a win for Web3. So
Here,
yeah,
everything you
I
could
hope
ever
the best
imagine
for everybody.
comes alive.
Unless they're just trying to
It's a
ruin
place of mystery
it.
and magic.
So yeah, that's how I operate. If you guys are trying to do something cool in space, if you guys are trying to be just amazing and supportive for the communities and for the that you're trying to gain as followers and participants or customers or investors, then I appreciate it, and I think that everybody should get that support. Should be. So if you're interested, check them out. Voxy Tactics, Warp Chain Game, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Thanks again. Have fun. Be safe. Be a good friend. Come join us for the next one live on the Discord. www.discord.com/CJN Friends. And I'll see you guys next week for the next live on Monday. Tomorrow's going to be a butt night, so I don't necessarily have live or anything like that. But we'll have some. Yeah. I love you guys. Peace out. Bye bye.